words of the master. This week we're going to be looking at the rich young ruler. The rich young ruler. We'll look at Matthew 19, 16 through 30. We also have Mark chapter 10, 17 through 31, and Luke 18, 18 through 30. We won't read all of those. There's essentially in those three accounts, they're almost they're almost exactly identical with one another. They're almost what is not going to be done. They're almost exactly the same. There's kind of a variance and addition that's added that we'll bring out when we get to it, but we can probably just read through Matthew's account, and we'll be gaining everything from that's there from the other accounts, through Matthew's version. So let's read Matthew 19, 16, all the way through verse 30.
And see, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting life? He said to him, Why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands. He said to him, Which? And Yeshua said, You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, respect your mother and your father, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The young man said to him, All these I have watched over from my youth. What do I still lack? Yeshua said to him, If you wish to be perfect, go, sell what you have, and give it to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. And when the young man heard this word, he went away sad because he had many possessions. And Yeshua said to his taught ones, Truly I say to you that it is hard for a rich man to enter into the reign of the heavens. And again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter into the reign of Elohim. And when his taught ones heard it, they were very astonished, saying, Who then is able to be saved? And looking intently, Yeshua said to them, With men it is impossible, but with Elohim all is possible. And Peter answering, said to him, See, we have left all and followed you. What then shall we have? And Yeshua said to them, Truly I say to you, when the Son of Adam sits on the throne of his esteem, you who have followed me in the rebirth shall also sit on the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone who has left houses, or brothers, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. But many who are first shall be last, and the last first.
All right. Very good. All right, so let's go back up to the beginning here. Talk about some of this a little bit. We look at the first verse there, verse 16. First of all, in Matthew 16, it says this one came to and said to him, this one, this non-specific, general, no-name person came. I think all the way down, and let's go to Luke just so we can add this extra addition to the situation. Luke 18, just read the first verse there. Luke 18, verse 18.
Luke 18:18. And a certain ruler asked him, saying, Good teacher, what shall I do to inherit everlasting life?
Okay, so Luke helps us to understand that he's a certain ruler. He's a certain ruler. Um, it's interesting to note that much of Yeshua's interactions, there's various rulers that he deals with. This wasn't necessarily one of the religious rulers necessary. Could have been, but he wasn't like a ruler of like a not like he was a ruler of like a synagogue or something like that. He was kind of he was a certain ruler, and he was, he had many things. Just thinking about life outside of capitalism. It's easy, I would say. I don't know how easy it is, but it's understandable to see a person who maybe doesn't have many things to come up with some idea and to become rich based off of an idea.
You said in capitalism or outside?
Inside of capitalism. Outside of capitalism, I don't know if that exists. You have rich and you have the poor. The poor are always among us. Yeshua talks about. You have the rich and you're the poor. The people who are rich, they're always rich. They have their things and they give it to their children. So when I think about the rich young ruler, I think about someone who, I don't know that he did anything, but he has things. The scripture doesn't tell us this. I'm just thinking about the society in which they lived in. And in that society, I feel like people that were rich, they stayed rich, and they stayed rich because they have what they have, and they pass it on. And so I kind of think about this little, this, I don't know why I want him to be like this little snobby, silver spoon person. Probably that's just kind of the way I think about it, But he's this person. Like why does he have so many things outside of capitalism? Right? It's not a thing for them. Capitalism is not a thing. But this guy, he has so many things. I feel like he didn't even work for the things. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I don't know how you do it. Like, how does that even work? I'm not even sure outside of this existence that we think about. I'm saying in that world, he was extremely rich. I feel like he was rich because he inherited richness. He was the son of this guy who had things, and he got what his daddy gave. I don't know why I'm thinking about it in that way, but I just wanted to go back to that just to see that this one, if we go back to Matthew, this one was this ruler. He had position. He had position. Let's go back to Matthew. He had position, and he had things. And so he goes to Yeshua, and I feel like I think that he's going towards Yeshua in a way that's slightly different than a lot of these people do. Because a lot of these people, they go to Yeshua and they have kind of ulterior motives. We just experienced it. We think about the previous interactions that Yeshua had with these Pharisees. And so when this one comes, he says to Yeshua, good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting life? And so I want to talk about, first of all, this thing of good teacher. First I want to talk about this person's intentions first, before we talk about good, because if we go to Mark, this is another variance. If we go to Mark 10 and 17. Go to Mark 10, verse 17. If you could read Mark 10, verse 17.
And as he was sitting out on his way, one came running and knelt before him and asked him, "Good teacher, what should I do to inherit everlasting life?"
Okay, so this certain ruler, Yeshua was on his way. He was going about his business. Yeshua was, and this ruler who was extremely rich. It says that he came running. Yeshua was on his way. He ran him down and knelt before him. Right? That's part of the thing. And so he came. He had a certain spirit about him. This one did. And, you know, he wasn't on some of this stuff that these other people was on. Right? There was persistence involved. He could have said, "Oh man, I just missed him. That's messed up." All right, sorry, what was you saying? Right, he didn't just move on from the fact that Yeshua was here, and then he wasn't here. He wanted to talk to him, but he didn't do anything about it. It said that he ran up. He ran to where he was. He ran up, and he knelt before him. That's what it says. So he was persistent about meeting with Yeshua. He was determined to do it. He was zealous about this whole idea of going before Yeshua. There was reverence and humility involved. So he was someone of importance. This young man was, but he humbled himself to Yeshua. It says to him, "Teacher." What's that word, teacher? I wonder. It probably literally is teacher.
Master.
What? Oh, that's Mark.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's the same word. It could be teacher, master, doctor. Okay. All right. Very good. So he goes and he not only gives. Yes, please. He not only goes to Yeshua, he runs to Yeshua. He bows down to Yeshua, kneels before him, and and obedience is implied. Obedience is implied. Tell me what I need to do, and I'm gonna do it. Right? You show me what I need to be doing in order to inherit everlasting life so that I'm able to do that thing. Whatever you say, that's what I almost was like the children of Israel at Mount Sinai. You say what to do, and then whatever you say, I'll do it. This is the spirit upon which this ruler, this young rich ruler is going to Yeshua, right? A spirit of determination and zealousness and persistence and humility and obedience. Right? The Pharisees, they come up and they ask Yeshua things. They want to argue. Right? They have ulterior motives whenever they go and they speak to Yeshua. But this one seems sincere. He seems sincere, and so again, he says, "Good teacher, good teacher." And so Yeshua's response is interesting. Read again verse 17. Matthew 19:17.
And he said to him, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except one. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands."
Okay, very good. So the man goes to Yeshua and he says to him, he's saying, "Good teacher." Why? And Yeshua's asked a question. Why are you calling me good? Like, what's your reason for saying to me,
Yeah.
good teacher. Is Yeshua saying to him that he's not good?
Yeah.
I wonder. Question mark.
I remember someone asked me about this when I was in college, and I just said, Yeshua is good. So, period. You know what I mean? Like she was like questioning, kind of, is he good or not?
As I am. That's what I'm doing. Because that's why he said it. He said, why do you call me good? Is Yeshua now saying, is he saying that he isn't good? Like, why? Ooh.
Because I say he is good. And he's Elohim. So, he gets both. But I think he's questioning to the guy. Talking to the guy.
He is indeed talking to the guy. Let's look at a couple of things. Let's go over to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 2.
Proverbs 4:2. I gave you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah.
Good instructions, don't forsake my teaching. I'm saying that the Torah is good instructions. I gave you Torah, don't forsake my Torah. He could have said that. What's verse 2? Good. What word is that?
So,
Tov. Tov. Interesting. Tov. It literally means good. The Most High created everything, and then everything that He created, He said that this is good. Sometimes He said this is very good. Right? When He made man, He said this is good. He said man's good. This thing that He created happened to be a man. He said it was good. In Proverbs, it said, I've given you good instruction. Do not forsake my teaching. The teaching that it's talking about is the Torah. Look at Psalms 49. Psalms 49, 1 through 3.
It says, hear this, all you peoples, give ear, all you inhabitants of the world, both sons of mankind and sons of man, rich and poor together. My mouth speaks wisdom, and the meditation of my heart brings understanding.
Okay, the wisdom that my mouth speaks, it's that same good instruction. It's got to be the Torah. The meditation of my heart brings understanding. The meditation of his heart is the law of the Most High. Right? You meditate on the law continually. That's the thing that's on your heart. That's the only thing that brings about understanding, not your own thoughts and desires. And so when we think about things that are good, we could go back to the law, statutes, and commands, the character of the Most High, and say that's good. What do it say in Romans chapter 7? Romans chapter 7, verse 12.
Romans 7 and 12. So that the Torah truly is set apart, and the command set apart, and righteous and good.
The law, the Torah is good. All right, so why would Yeshua be like, why are you calling me good? Why are you calling me good? As if to say he's not good.
Well, we know Yeshua is not saying he's not good, because in John 10:11 it says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for his sheep.
Very good.
So, in this scripture, you know, he calls him good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked him for instructions. And I'm betting Yeshua knew he wasn't going to follow his instructions. So why you calling me good teacher?
And you ain't gonna
if
listen.
You ain't going to listen
Yup.
to my
Oh,
teaching.
yeah.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
now we're talking. Now we on to something. Okay, and so Yeshua, it's interesting when we look at Yeshua. Yeshua knows the hearts of these people. He knows the heart of these people, and he speaks directly to the hearts of these people before he even gets to the part that exposes his plan. There's clues that helps us to understand that he's about to be onto something. If you keep on listening to what I'm saying, you'll see the clues that I'm giving you, and you'll understand what Yeshua is thinking. You'll understand it better. And so when we think about what he says, when he says, "Why do you call me?" He could be like, there could be some emphasis. Why do you? Why do you? I know my people call me good, but why do you call me good? Yes, that's a good observation. Yes, thank you. Because he continues and he says this thing that if, you know, from the outside looking in, if we're asking and trying to figure out about if he is trying to deny the fact that he's good, he says no one's good except for one, Elohim. So why you calling me good unless you think I'm Elohim?
Which is plural.
Which is plural. The word is, Elohim is masculine plural. Yes, it is. Look at John 10 and 30. What's that say? John 10 and 30.
John 10 and 30. I and my Father, I and my Father are one.
I and my Father are one, he says. Yeshua said that. So first of all, he said that I'm the good shepherd. That's what he did say. Yeshua said that. That's red letters in your Bible. Yeshua literally says that. And then over here, he said, I and my Father are one. So if he says that no one is good except one, Elohim, what's he saying? Now look at John 5:22 through 24.
Says, for the Father judges no one, but has given all the judgment to the Son, that all should have should value the Son even as they value the Father. Who does not value the Son does not value the Father who sent him. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who hears my word and believes in him who sent me possesses everlasting life and does not come into judgment, but has passed from the death into life.
Okay, so you know, it's interesting when we think about the relationship between Yeshua and Yahweh. The relationship between the Father and the Son. Yeshua said to this guy, no one is good except one, Elohim. Why you calling me good? Meanwhile, he said in John 5:22, he said that all should value the Son. Here, what's that word, man? 23, John 5:23. Honor. To prize. Fix a valuation upon. A valuation, like when you go to that pawn shop show and the guy sits up there and look at this thing and say, man, this ain't worth nothing. He puts a valuation on the thing. Or you look at this thing and, wow, this thing, I'll give you $1 million for this thing. The valuation that he puts on it. But he said, Yeshua said, whatever valuation you put on the Son, he said, all should value the Son, even as they value, honor, revere the Father. That's what he said. He said that. Yeshua said it. He said, we are one. I and the Father are one. And so he's not saying that he's not good. He's trying to figure out, why are you saying that I'm good? That's what he's trying to say. Why is it that you calling me good? Okay, so back in Matthew, go back to Matthew. Back to Matthew chapter 19, verse 17. Because he said, if you wish to enter into life, guard the commandments. That's what he said. That was his answer. And then so the guy's like, well, which ones? Which ones you talking about? Which commandments do you mean? And then look what he says to him. Here, he says murder, adultery, stealing, false witness, respect for your father and mother, love your neighbor as yourself. Does anybody see something that is similar between all of the commandments that he gave? Because Yeshua said to him, keep the commandments. The man said, which ones you talking about? And then these are the ones that Yeshua said.
This is an interesting question for him to ask, which ones you talking about. He said, which ones? Like, which ones can't I keep?
It is an interesting.
I want to be precise.
It is interesting. I think that when he says which, he exposes himself. He exposes himself. We're getting closer. Yeshua already knows, because before Yeshua even spoke, while he was talking and Yeshua didn't say nothing, Yeshua already knew, like, this guy crazy. And then but we see in here that he's exposing himself even when he just says, which ones you talking about? Because he told them everything already. He said, keep the commandments. He should have been like, oh, okay, good. You mean all the commandments. No, but he said, which?
If he wouldn't have asked that question, he would have never got to the other part. He'd have been like, okay. And walked away. He would have never got to the part.
Yes, because even though, so the thing is that there's a part of him that he has issues within himself, but there's also the fact that he still has the perseverance though. He still has a desire. He still has a desire because he ran. Yeah. Right? He could have just been like, oh, that's Yeshua over there. That's cool. What would you say? Oh. But he could have,
yelled out.
He could have called out to him. And be like, hold up. But he runs to them, so there's persistence there. So part of him has a sincere desire to do a thing, but there's something that's missing, though. There's a part that's missing that's important, which causes him, part of his, the chink in his armor is beginning to be exposed when he says which. And then, but there is a common thread that exists in the response that Yeshua has. When he brings up murder, adultery, stealing, false witness, respect your father and mother, and love your neighbor as yourself.
I think he has a overestimate of the value of himself. due to his britches and you know what I'm saying, he in his heart, I believe, he felt like he was
He a good guy.
a good guy,
He was good.
right?
He was good.
And he was running to him like, oh, there's the master. Let me, just make sure I'm on track and let him see how good I'm doing. You know,
I mean, verse 20 agrees with what you're saying. He heard what he said, and he said, all of these, I've watched over these things from my youth.
I did all of it.
You ain't said nothing that I ain't on already.
I'm on
What do
board.
I lack? Yeshua said all the things that he said, and then he was still like, and? Right? He's still like, what you said? Like, I know about all these things. Since I was a kid, I've been doing all of that stuff.
What you think? How old you think he was?
I don't know. When they talk about people in their age, I feel like they're always kind of in that younger, maybe not even counted as a man type of a situation. Because why even say about him being young? Right? Why even bring it up? He's a young man. He's still kind of wet behind the ears, as they say. First, look at verse 20. What's that word there?
Under 40.
Oh, so you a young man under 40, you know what I'm saying?
Under 40.
You still...
I don't know where they get that from. Do I got Thayers on here? Look at we got Thayers on there. Look at Thayers. Go down to Thayers.
Young man.
No. It should be over there. Hit that strong shit.
There.
Young man, youth.
Use of the young attendant.
Go to the word study thing.
Word study.
Yeah.
There.
New young man, youth, young man, spoken of young men in the prime and vigor of manhood, up to the age of 40 years or more. Younger members of the community. So it's kind of like a range. I feel like the simple fact that they're using this particular term, the emphasis I'm thinking is on the youth part. So I feel like he couldn't be over 40, but I'm not sure necessarily if it's putting them all the way up there. It's accentuating his youthfulness and his naivete.
I think is that they probably either called you young or old. It's probably one or the other.
You one or the other, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Maybe the gap. I don't know.
I mean, it could be that, right? There's not much of a either you're young or you old.
Yeah.
You're elder or you just
Right.
a young whippersnapper.
You old until you get some grades.
Until you're one of the, until you're a hoary head.
You had gray hair there.
Yes, it was way before my time. Ever since I was about 5 years old. All right, so okay, but all of this, but we still haven't figured out the similarities between the commandments that Yeshua brings out here. I think it's important.
Oh, he said these are the 10 Commandments.
What? He said,
The laws of Moses, the Torah. Yah's
10 Commandments plus 1.
I think one of the similarities I noticed is like it involves
sorry.
more than one person. Like murder, there's two people you're affecting
Oh,
someone.
so plus
So like what you're doing is affecting another person.
Okay, I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, that's a great observation because everyone is like,
Relational.
yeah, relationship.
But where the first four at?
Okay, now. Now we're getting closer. If we're on the Find My thing, that thing is starting to buzz. We're almost there. You're just a foot away. These things have everything to do with people. Nothing to do with the Most High. Not even one.
So he knows.
Maybe you can make the argument for the father and mother thing, but it's kind of metaphorical in that sense.
And you know, riches are often attained by how you doing with other people.
From a negative aspect, right? The people who were categorized as just by simple fact of what their occupation was were these tax farmers, right? Those people were well off, but their job was wicked. Okay? But if we notice, the things that Yeshua mentions here is the things that are connected with your interactions with, and it takes the cake with the end. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's the kicker right there where he's getting at. He don't know how to deal with people. This guy don't. He don't treat them right.
Well, he said, I watched them from youth, though.
He said that. He said that, but why does Yeshua bring this even up? As if to say, like Yeshua's testing him the whole time. He don't got an issue with the way that he deals with the Most High. He does all of the things that he's supposed to be doing in that regard. But there's an issue with the way in which he deals with people. I think that's why he's saying it. But I think the thing that helps us to understand this fully is the thing that stops him the most. He says in 21, if you wish to be perfect, go sell what you have and give it to the poor.
Oh, give it to the people.
Give it to the people. You want to sit up here and hold all this stuff to yourself. Give it to the poor. And what do he say? Oh, man.
He got sad. So I went away sorrowful.
That's what it literally says. He went away sad because he got many possessions. It's only causing us to think about the fact that he got all of this stuff that he don't want to part with. But that's not the only thing, though.
He said, give it to the people.
He didn't just say, well, go and get rid of all of your stuff. He said, cash that stuff in for money and give that to the poor.
I think about
It's
that.
two things involved. The only thing he said is, I have many things. Well, don't say he said that he went away and he was sad because of the fact that he had many things.
No, but hold on. It's another thing. He said, and follow me.
Mm-hmm.
You should have been happy to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
This the good teacher, right? This is you should be happy to give all away to,
Yeah.
but it showed where his heart was.
And so that's another thing. So I was only just thinking about, that's a good observation as well. You think about the two aspects of things that Yeshua mentions here, but there's three. Get rid of your stuff
Give it away.
and give the money to the poor. Help the people. There's a blessing that comes with the result of that. You'll have treasures in heaven. Do that and then follow me. Did Yeshua wasn't good enough for him to hear what it was that he said and for him to say, oh, that's what it gotta be? Yeah, cool. Like he adds that into it. Come and follow me. But he can't follow him. He can't follow him because he can't get rid of his stuff. And he don't care enough about Yeshua He don't care enough about the poor. He don't care enough about relieving himself of the things that he has.
Maybe he should follow Zacchaeus.
Hmm?
So maybe he should follow Zacchaeus.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is. I guess. The person who ends up buying the tomb for Yeshua was somebody who had money. Some people say it was this guy, where he changes his tune later as time goes on. But we are able to see over here this interesting thing that Yeshua does with, first of all, pointing out all these commands that deal with man and your neighbor. None of the commands that deal with his relationship with the Most High, as if to say, no, he does things. He does things that are connected to what one might do to show reverence, respect, adoration towards the Most High. But he doesn't do things that are connected to loving your neighbor as yourself. Even though he says, all these I have watched over from my youth. Have you though? Have you though? And so it's almost as if Yeshua pulls out the Trump card at this point. Not Donald Trump, but the big joker. And slams it on the table. If you wish to be perfect, go sell what you have and give it to the poor. Now, this is another thing, right? So what is it that Yeshua is talking about here? Is he talking about someone kind of buying their way into the kingdom?
Sit down.
If you want to be perfect, do all of this charity work here for the poor. And come follow me. Is this some kind of merited thing? You do these two things. You sell your things. You give those things to the poor, and then you'll gain treasures in heaven.
I think that, every man's issue is different. Yeshua knows what each person is struggling with. Rich people are struggling with riches. You know what I mean? The thieves are struggling with keeping their hands off somebody else's pocket. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like Yeshua is saying that this is the way you gotta, because most people ain't got no money to give to the poor and then they don't got money. So different struggles, you're gonna have to give it all up, whatever it is, and that's gonna be your way in and following him. Well, following him is gonna be your way in, but whatever your struggle is, you're gonna have to lay it down and pick up your cross and follow him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so with this individual, this rich young ruler, his issue is his love for the things that he has acquired.
Yep. That's where his heart is.
That's his issue. The end result is going to always be come and follow me. But the first thing he says, leave your father, mother, sister, brother, and pick up your torture stake. When you say pick up your torture stake, he said the same thing as sell what you have and give it to the poor. For this guy right here, his sacrifice, the thing that hits him the deepest is for him to rid himself of these things which he loves these things. Obviously. Because he goes away sad. Like I picture him just hearing that and turning around, putting his head down. He ran up to them and he walks off. He just walks off with his head down, and he just goes away. But it's interesting that Yeshua, where he says to him, if you wish to be perfect, and he gives him the things that he should be doing, these things that he feels are necessary for him to be able to reach perfection or his level of maturation. But he asked him to do something. He asked him to do something that he knows that his heart condition won't allow him to do. He asked him to do something that he knows that his heart condition is going to keep him from, that's going to prevent him from obedience. He doesn't have the will. He doesn't have the will to do that. Unfortunately.
I think about even he could have just been like, help me with that situation, like help.
It was too much to bear. He couldn't even fathom it. Like for him to say something like that, well, for him to even have said, Yeshua, that what you talking about is a hard thing. Help me to get to the place where I'm able to do such a thing. Like the idea of him losing his things was so far removed from his reality, he only was able to just give up. There was no alternative to him. He just was like, that's what it takes. I guess I don't make the cut.
I wonder if he became totally wicked after that. I mean, you go to the master, he gives you an ultimatum.
That was an ultimatum. He gave it to him right there.
And you refuse.
I mean, it could only go one or two ways. I mean, either this is the guy from Arimathea, or either this is Joseph of Arimathea, or there's some guy who we never see again. I mean, he could be somebody else, but
I mean, Ebony said that, to be fair, he could have left to do it, but just wasn't happy about it.
Maybe. We don't know. But I think that what I wanted to talk about is the fact that this idea, though, of treasures in heaven, this idea of treasures of heaven, Yeshua literally tells him to do these things. Do these things, and you'll have treasures in heaven. And come and follow me. But I don't think it's the same thing as saying, do these things and you'll be saved. Even though they're closely related. Let's go to Ephesians. I think this is very important. I think for us to be able to understand this situation that's going on here is something that's very relevant to specifically our situation. Because he literally told him to go and do some things. And then as a result of the things that you go and do, there's going to be things laid up for you in heaven, treasures. But what he's not saying is do this thing and you'll be able to gain interest into. It's not the same thing. But read for us Ephesians 2, verse 8 through 10.
For by favor you have been saved through belief, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Elohim. It is not by works, so that no one should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Messiah Yeshua, unto good works, which Elohim prepared beforehand, that we should walk in them.
All right, so let's go to verse 8. Verse 8, pull up the Strong's on verse 8. For by favor, King James says, for by grace. Here, take that away for a second. Just take that away for a second. Because when we think about grace, we think about this thing, this unearned favor. This thing that you've acquired of no strength, merit of your own. Grace. Go back to, let's look at that word there, grace. Let's see what it says there. Graciousness, as gratifying of matter of or act, abstract or concrete, literal, figurative, spiritual, especially the divine influence upon the heart. Especially the divine influence upon the heart. That's interesting. By grace you are saved. Especially the divine influence upon the heart. When you think about the divine influence upon the heart, I don't know what you think about, but I think about Ezekiel 36, 26, and 27. When I think about divine influence upon the heart, what's it say in Ezekiel 36, 26, and 27?
Thirty-six, 26.
Yes. And 27.
And I shall give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. And I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh. And I shall put my spirit within you, and shall cause you to walk in my laws and guard my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I
Okay,
give.
that's very good.
Okay.
All right, so the circumcision of the heart is like unto natural circumcision. Because unless you're Abraham, you don't circumcise yourself. You don't circumcise your own heart. He said, a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will take away your stony heart, and I will give you a heart of flesh. This is what the Most High is going to do to you. There's going to be a divine influence upon your heart. And this thing that the Most High does to you is going to cause you to walk. And you're going to keep, and you're going to do. because of this divine influence that is upon your heart.
You know what that sound like too? It sound like he's saving you from yourself.
He, in fact, is saving you from yourself. You can't save yourself from yourself, but he can save you from yourself. And so from that regard, there's nothing that you are able to do to save yourself. So the rich young ruler, the act of him giving his stuff away is not the thing that saves him. The act of him giving his stuff away could only have been a manifestation of his heart condition. His heart was mal. His heart was unwell. That's Spanish. Interesting.
His heart was rah. That's Hebrew. Bad.
His heart was unwell. And so therefore he could not be saved. But still looking at Ephesians, for by grace are you saved, for by a divine influence upon your heart are you saved. Through faith, you have to believe in Yeshua and what he did for you in order to receive
Ephesians 1.
Ephesians 2, verse 8.
2 verse 8.
You have to believe in Yeshua in order to receive the gift that he has for you. It's not of yourself, it's a gift of Elohim. It's saying, Yeshua, come in here and get this thing out of here and put the thing that you got for me inside of it. Not of works, because if it was of works, you'd be able to say, look at me. Look at how good I am. Look at all of the things that I'm able to do. Look at the treasures that I've amassed in heaven. The treasures that you amass in heaven aren't the things that get you to that place. The transformation of your heart is the thing that gets you to that place. He said in verse 10, still in Ephesians, for we are the workmanship created in Yeshua Messiah. The thing that we are that because of the fact that we've been transformed by what it is Yeshua did for us unto good works. The good works is the result of your heart condition. The things that you do is the result of your heart condition. So if you're doing things now that aren't the result of a heart condition, it's just Bill Gates, he gives a lot of things away to people. Huh? He give all kind of stuff away to people. I'm not Yeshua. I don't know his heart condition, but it don't seem like he has. Like it seems like his heart is small to me. I don't know his heart, but I'm just saying it looks like it. It looks like it is. But I'm saying that the simple fact that you do it isn't proof, though. And so he could sit up there and say, I've been doing things my whole life. I've been sitting up here doing all the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing my whole life. But when it comes down to when the rubber meets the road, when Yeshua said what it was that he was requiring of him, he didn't even think about it. Oh man, I can't do that. I can't. It's just too much. If we go back to Matthew, back to Matthew, look at what Yeshua says. Yeshua got something to say about all of these. Look at hit on verse 23 right there. He said, truly it is hard. What's that word hard? It's hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. What's that word? Impracticably. What did I say? What's that word hard? Impracticably? Impracticably. What don't Noah Webster got to say about that?
No matter of degree that hinders practice. Morality,
It's a great
not impractical.
hindrance.
Rigid.
It's pretty difficult as a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. But not simply because of the riches, though. Because of the fact that you could tell when you look at the interaction between this guy and Yeshua that he loved those things. He loved those things. He loved his things so much.
There was other people that came to Yeshua that had a little bit of bread. And he ain't say, oh, go sell all that you have and follow me. He didn't say that. He didn't say that to the tax collector. Who's the guy that Yeshua went to his house? Was that the tax collector that he went to his house?
Yeah, he went to the tax collector's house, hung out over there, mad.
Yeah, he didn't say sell all that you have.
Matthew did have a big party.
He
So
did have a big party.
It wasn't, it's not the money.
Yeah.
And then I agree it was the money. Tax collectors, I just want to say that they was probably like hood rich. Where this guy, you know what I mean? Where they had more than the other people had, but they wasn't like rich.
Yeah.
They had more than most. But they wasn't like up. This guy's upper echelon. This guy.
Be richer.
Yeah, this guy's up in the top.
Judah.
Yeah. But yes, you're absolutely right. Because this guy's issue is in his heart. And Yeshua is speaking to his heart. But when we look at verse 23 over here, when he says what he says it's hard, again, not because of the things in and of themselves, but because of this particular guy's heart towards those things. And it's interesting because look at what he says. Verse 23, he says it's hard. But read verse 24.
It says, and again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter into the reign of Elohim.
Okay, so this is different than hard. This is impossible.
Yeah.
A camel don't fit through the eye of a needle. Like he said it's hard for them to do it. But then the next thing he said, and again I say unto you, it's easy for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man. This is impossible.
I heard it been said that there was some gate
Yes.
that they called that the camels had to kind of
Yes.
crawl through to get through it. I don't know.
Yes, and when you look into that further, it's hard to find proof of that, because the idea is that the camel had to bow down, and he had all the stuff on him, his burden that he had on him, and he had to get down and have humility to be able to. It sounds good when you preach it, but I'm not sure of the historical accuracy of it.
What this footnote was saying, what did I say?
That word there, if the word that was translated as camel is actually rope. If there was a typo in the word, there's the word for camel and the word for rope are like one letter away from each other. And so but still, if you have a rope, it ain't getting into the eye of a needle either. So either way, the idea of impossibility still exists with the situation over there. Now, this is obviously hyperbole. Yeshua's using. He's not saying something different than what he said before. It's very hard to do it. It's so hard that it's near impossible. It's a typical thing. It's a strategy. It's a method that is used. We're the salt of the earth. We speak in hyperbole at times, and that's what this is. He's exaggerating. He's exaggerating with the purpose that proves itself that, because it's very easy for the same thing that happened to this young man, it's very easy for that to be your reality, for you to love these things more than the Most High.
I was gonna say, if you look at, our history, you had a lot of people who had money. You had Abraham. Abraham was rich.
Yes, he's
You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? Jacob was rich.
Yeah.
Solomon, he was the richest man, ever.
Yes, his problems didn't have nothing to do with richness. I mean, with money. Yeah, really was rich in other things that caused him to be problems. But the point is that these things can very easily cause you to stumble. These things can very easily prevent you from entering into the kingdom of heaven, because there's a strong possibility of you loving these things. Just like he did. Just like this person did. This thing that Yeshua says is, is interesting. Look at how the disciples respond. Look at 25 and 26. You read that again.
And when his taught ones heard it, they were very astonished, saying, who is able to be saved? And looking intently, Yeshua said to them, with men it is impossible, but with Elohim all is possible.
Okay, so this I feel like reverses everything right here. With men, it's impossible to be saved. Because that's the question. Who's unable to be saved? With men, you can't even do it. It's impossible. But that's back to the grace thing. When you have this divine influence, which only comes from the Most High, then you are able. That was this person's problem. He didn't never have no divine influence. He didn't have that spirit on his life that was able to cause him to change and do the things that was necessary for life. We're able to see as you mentioned, we're able to see in the scripture those that do the things that are righteous and good. And they have all kinds of things. But when Yeshua says with men it's impossible. What's impossible? To be able to be saved. There's nothing that you're able to do. It's impossible. But with Elohim, all things are possible. This is the new covenant. With the new covenant, the spirit inside of us the spirit inside of us causes us to be able to naturally do the things that we cannot naturally do. We don't want to naturally do the things of the Most High. We want to do things that please us and our flesh and our carnality. Those are the things that we want to do. It's impossible for us to. This man, it was impossible for him to do the thing that Yeshua was asking of him because he was deep in his flesh. But when you look at Peter, when he's basically in agreement with what Yeshua is saying here, and he's like, you know, we left everything. We followed you. What we gonna get? And Yeshua literally tells him, you're gonna get it all. That's what he said, right? They're walking around. I mean, they got what they want every day. They don't let. Yeshua talks about the fact that when he's not physically there anymore, y'all gonna wish y'all had these times right now. These is probably gonna be the best times of your life when I'm walking around here with you. You're gonna wish for the days that I was physically here with you. But you know, because they're walking around and they don't gotta worry about food. They can just walk around and just, give my man a little bit of stuff he got over there. That's cool. I'm gonna expand it for us. We gonna eat. Y'all with me. You know what I'm saying? And so he says to them, you will judge the 12 tribes of Israel. You're gonna sit on 12 thrones in the rebirth. Because of the fact that they followed the formula. They left everything that they have to follow Yeshua. Which is the point. You can't put no thing above Yeshua. Like he's talking to these regular people when he says to them, leave houses and brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers and wives and children or lands. But when you think about, is he advocating abandoning your family? Like, is he advocating you as a father abandoning your children? Is that what he's advocating? Is a point that he's making is that we have to prioritize Yeshua and he be the center of your life. Not for you to be a deadbeat dad. If you don't provide anymore for your family, you come and be with me. Like he's not saying these things in a reckless way, even though just at face value it kind of sounds like that. But that obviously isn't what he's saying. But we have to be able to understand that there is nothing that comes before Yeshua. And when we put Yeshua first, our whole situation is able to be, put in order. Go ahead, what would you say?
I had a thought when you were saying what you were saying. It made me think when the disciples gave up everything. I thought, oh, this is like being born again. In a sense, you let go of the old to start new. So they gave up all that they knew of to be what Yeshua said was like.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is that. You're starting your life anew. You're being transformed into a new creation. You're being changed and moving out of this world of darkness and moving into this world of light. And so it's transferring our focus from the things that are connected to this world and carnality and the flesh, and thinking about those things that are connected to the Spirit and the Most High and the kingdom of Elohim. And so, you know, we have to think about really the emphasis that Yeshua is making here, and not even necessarily the demand, because of, you know, understanding the heart of Yeshua and what he is, you know, requiring of his people and everyone for that matter. You know, at the end of the day, we have to understand that this world, this life that we live, the purpose that exists here is for the advancement of the kingdom. And we have to have the advancement of the kingdom be that thing that we are striving to do. And, you know, when we're rightly doing that, you know, when you speak from, at least from the aspect of, you know, what he talks about in verse 29, when you move from that standpoint, especially as a father, you know, you're bringing your family along with you, at least your immediate family that you're able to deal with, right? Maybe not your distant relatives, but the ones in your house, because he literally says leaving house, right? He can't mean to abandon your responsibilities. He can't mean that. It has to be an idea of prioritizing Yeshua and putting him first. Go ahead.
And you know, we have come to know some people who call themselves part of hundredfold thing.
I'm not sure what that means. Oh, is that based off of this verse right here?
I'm assuming that, or also they will reap 100-fold. You know, some will reap this amount fold, this fold, this fold, or whatever. You know. What's the
Yes, I don't know about those people. It's interesting what people do with these things, but I think we have to be able to, just as Yeshua speaks, and when he speaks, he's dealing with the heart of the issue. You know, he wants for us to understand a specific thing, which is that we have to put the kingdom and its purposes at the forefront. We can't allow things that we deal with in this realm to prevent us from doing that. You know, there's one message for all of us, and that is, you know, the expansion of the kingdom, and we have to be able to align ourselves with that. For the rich young ruler, of course, that was an issue that was exposed, and you know, hopefully, you know, he was able to turn his life around. I hope he was, because you know, it's the things that we could amass in this realm. You know, Paul talks about the fact that they're not to be compared with the things that are to come. And so, you know, the thing that Yeshua is describing to his disciples, you know, they're walking around and they're living in this existence, which probably might seem hard to them at times, but Yeshua says, you know, you're going to be ruling over the 12 tribes of Israel. If you are able to endure. And the same is true for you and I. You know, we have these life situations, but we have to understand that this is just but a fraction, a portion of our overall existence. And you know, everything points towards the kingdom. All right. Does anybody have any last thoughts, questions, comments? Okay. All right. So that being said, I guess we'll.
I do have something to say.
Oh, go ahead.
It seemed like he was asked, she was asked twice, like people was almost wanting, like, this is a hard saying, like, when he was talking about the marriage thing and this thing. It just seemed like they was ready to give up on a lot of things, that's all.
You talking about as far as the disciples?
Yeah,
Yeah, they, before they was
disciples.
like, how we even supposed to get married if this is what we got to deal with? He's like, how we even gonna be able to
Get saved.
make it into the kingdom if this is what it is? It's interesting that they said that, but they did the thing though.
Yeah.
They were sitting in this case, they were sitting on the right side of things because they literally gave up everything. But Yeshua, at least for the fishermen, Yeshua made it easy for them, though. Because when he meets them, they basically hit the jackpot when he meets them. I don't know how long that payoff was for all of the fish that they caught whenever he initially meets them, but you know, he definitely made it easy for them to make a decision with some guy who at that time he was just the new guy on the scene. But
It took them, I think they never realized that Yeshua was hitting the issues of each individual.
yeah,
And like, it was hard for them to perceive what he was doing. Like, and why. Because it's like, whoa, you're going to tell this individual this, and they probably had plenty other rich people like we was mentioning that he never said that to. So it's like, what is
Yeah, it's you know he's speaking directly to this guy. You know, it's hard for us to look at the things that he's speaking directly to this guy and then say, well, you know, that's the same for everyone. In generally speaking, yes, it is the same. It's, you know, it's a hard thing because people, you know, love things. And if you love things, it is like trying to put a camel through the eye of a needle. You can't do it. But if you love the Most High, then you know He's able to make all things possible.
He's like, it reminded me of the Matrix, the Oracle. Every time she only talks tell the people what they need to hear to affect their life. That's the Oracle. That's he was like the Oracle. You know what I mean?
The Matrix. You know, I should.
The documentary known as The Matrix.
So funny. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that being said, I think we'll be done for now. If no one has any more thoughts, questions, or comments, we'll be done for now. Y'all willing? We'll be back on next Shabbat. We'll say for now, we'll say Shabbat Shalom.